GMC has had two electric trucks for quite some time. First they had the GMC Hummer EV truck, and then this, the Hummer EV SUV. But there is now a new member of the family, and right here I have the brand new, all new GMC Sierra EV Denali Edition 1, and it's a 2024 very special edition. Both of these are electric. They're using basically the same architecture underneath, but they're super different. So in this video, I thought I would show you both of them. I'll spend a little bit of time here and show you every single feature of this new Sierra EV Denali. And then at the end of this video, I'll tell you which one is my favorite, because basically they cost about the same money. So it's not about the cost of each one of these when you're comparing them. It's about your preference. So let's start with this one. This is a 3X, which basically means 3-motor configuration. 1 electric motor in the front, 2 electric motors in the rear. You can see the 3X right there. And this color I love, actually. They call it Supernova Blue. Well, supernovas, I guess, can be in multiple colors, but I think it works quite well, especially with the black roof on this SUV. And it is rolling on 22s. This tire is a Goodyear Wrangler Territory AT, so it's got a little bit of off-roady design. It's not a full MT mud terrain or maximum traction tire, and I wouldn't recommend really off-roading on this tire because of this large 22-inch wheel, but it could do some off-roading, of course. Both of these, by the way, have air suspensions that move up and down, so you can get always a little bit more ground clearance. But this is kind of a playful vehicle. They both start at just under $100,000. And I'll show you a couple of options or the price on this one in just a second. But what you have here, because you have 3 motors, you have 830 horsepower. It's not the 1,000 horsepower that's in the truck. This battery is a little bit smaller than the Hummer EV truck because the wheelbase is a little bit smaller, and it's got 4-wheel steering, which makes this SUV very maneuverable, even though it's really wide. And actually, you can remove the top. I'll show you that in a second too. So let me show you how this works. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here. I'll just touch on some features and specs. You have a spare tire hanging on the back, which I love. Not only does it look really great, but it also provides you a spare tire. And then you have this cargo area. There's a couple things here. This is not an entry-exit mode. It's a little bit, maybe an inch taller, but still this is a very high load floor. So I wouldn't recommend, hauling something super heavy and actually trying to lift some cargo in here. But Zach and I have our road gear here. We're in Michigan, and it's quite easy to lift your backpacks or your carry-ons into here. This is your charger cord, Ultium charger. And you have your hitch, you have your wiring. This is really easy to reach. I love this. The tow rating is 7,500 pounds. So even though this is a giant SUV that weighs quite a bit, it doesn't have a super high tow rating. This is a tow rating that maybe some of the more mid-size to large SUVs have. So if you're planning to tow a lot, this is probably not what you should be looking at, bigger boats, bigger campers, that type of thing. All right, let me close this. I can just push one button and this hatch will close. Now, range and charging. I said this is a little bit shorter, has a slightly smaller battery. It still have an 800-volt capability for charging. So it will charge at up to about 300 kilowatts, not quite 350. That I'll show you soon in the Sierra EV, but that's still plenty fast. It's faster than most current electric vehicles, and the range is about 314 miles on this one, fully charged. Now, Zach, do you want to jump in with me? Let's look at the interior, because this is another area where these two GMCs are very different. Okay. Let me start this up. So here is the thing. So there's a button, so I have to, it's very traditional actually. I have to push on the brake, I had to push on my power button, the truck comes to life, and it's actually, we're here in Michigan, it's humidity is super high, and it's quite warm. Anyways, the vehicle comes to life, and well, you probably have seen the Hummer interior before. It's quite unique. It's not like anything else. It's got some bronze interior touches, and this large console. Of course, there's a little bit more storage in here, and there's a large pass-through on the bottom too. So I don't know if you can see my hand right there, but there's a big kind of pass-through for small bag, maybe a purse, some other items down there. But overall, it's okay. But for a $100,000 vehicle, some of these materials may not be super luxurious, and they're not. The screen is unique. The theme is unique. You have this moon theme. It was really GM's moonshot. They actually called this electric Hummer the super truck, the first super truck. So you could see right there when you change modes, it's actually towing I think Saturn V rocket. I think it's a Saturn V, maybe something else. And it's kind of this moon theme, so you'll see it throughout this truck. But it has a very unique cockpit experience because the windshield is very Hummer-like. You know, if you're used to H2s and H3s from early 2000s and mid 2000s, you will kind of recognize this. But this windshield is short. It's far away from me. I'm 6'3", and I'm still trying to kind of reach it here. So overall, side view is okay. I'm looking to the side, there's really good visibility, but forward-looking visibility is not super great, considering if you pull up to a traffic light, sometimes you have to go like this to kind of see the traffic lights above you, because this top of the windscreen here is blocking quite a bit of view. But what I love about this is you can remove the roof. So let's see, what else can I touch on here?
Right before we do that, Andre, I did want to mention as well, because this is the SUV, you can, with the touch of one switch.
Oh yeah, I can lower the rear glass, raise it. Yeah, it's right there. It does have rear camera mirror, so it can be either an actual mirror or a display. So of course that feature is there too. And also that does have Super Cruise. Or actually, yeah, it does. I can see a little, so it's hard to see here from my perspective. But it does have Super Cruise and regular cruise. So it has a lot of features you're used to. 830 horsepower. This is quick. It also has a payload of just around 1,300 pounds, which is not super high for an SUV this size, but it's only a two-row, five-passenger SUV. And it weighs about 8,700 pounds. So it's a pretty hefty beast. But let me remove this top.
Let me come around to get a better...
Yeah, come around. Thank you, Zach. And let me take this top off. So there's just two, each of these panels has just two of these little latches, not four. So I did both of them. Now I can just lift up a little bit and pull. And actually, these are quite light. I have been going to the gym recently, so I'm pretty buff, but these are kind of light. And then you're probably wondering, all right, now what do I do with this? Well, there's a trick. You can push the button right here. You can also use your key, and the frunk opens. And there are bags, these nice cushy bags, where you could put each of the four panels in. I'm not gonna bore you with this right now, other than that to say that this opening is not super big. It also has, right here, Zach, it has a 12 volt, and of course it has a light, but it doesn't have any 110 110 or 120 volt outlets. It does have some ways to secure stuff, like little attachment points, but it doesn't have a lot of like actual inverter power. So let me close this up. And you can remove all 4 panels, so 2 in the front, 2 in the rear, and kind of have this open top. Let me show you. Kind of this open top. This is a frameless door, right? You can take that glass down, take this down, open the rear glass, and have this really beautiful open top experience anywhere, in the city or in the wild. And this one, with some of the options, special color, this is $107,000. Okay? Now the main attraction. This video is really about this truck. So interestingly enough, so it comes out right now. So if you reserved one a couple years ago when they first announced this, you might be already getting your Sierra EV Denali Edition 1. They started production and they started shipping. But they do have a long list, and this is the 2024 model. You can see a very discreet Edition 1 badge, black on black right there. Denali is a super strong name for GMC. They were giving I was just with the team at Milford Proving Grounds here in Michigan, and Denali brand is pretty amazing. The average price of a Denali truck is around $79,000. They sell about 160,000 of them a year, combined with SUVs, of course, not just pickups. So it's a very strong brand. It's recognized. It's been around for, 23 years or so. And now it's electric. And now it's an electric truck. And GM they're pretty bullish on this. They're calling it not just the best electric pickup, but the best pickup of all. That's a pretty strong statement, and we'll do more videos with this. We'll have a full driving review. We'll do towing. Hopefully, we'll soon get this to Colorado, and you'll be able to see a lot of those claims tested, and we can compare it to other pickup trucks, of course. This bed is versatile, and I can show you that a little bit more about this. But before I do, let's get some numbers out of the way. Let's look at the side of this truck. So it's much longer than the Hummer SUV or maybe even the Hummer truck. This is basically a 145-inch, maybe 146-inch wheelbase. So it's very similar to the Silverado EV RST or Silverado EV work truck that we already tested at TFL. So the overall chassis is much longer. It has more battery, so up to 440 miles of range, because it has more just length and places to put that battery than the Hummer EV SUV. And also 2 motors, not 3, and a little bit less power than this Hummer. 754 horsepower in this maximum power mode that I'll show you in a second. So those are some of the main specs. They say 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds. We verified it on the Silverado EV RST, which is very similar to this. So I don't doubt that claim. And it's rolling on this. If you thought a 22-inch wheel on the Hummer was impressive, this is a 24-inch wheel. And the tire size is quite interesting. So if you can read upside down, it's 275 50 R24. So it's basically just lower than 35 inches. They're calling it a 35. It's not very wide. It's about 10.8 inches wide. So it's a little bit smaller than the Hummer tire. And you can kind of see it up, straight up right there. It's not super wide. It's not overly skinny, but it's just not super wide. And this is the only way it will come. So the Edition 1 that you could buy for 2024 model year, they will only have Denali Edition 1s, only in this color. This is called Thunderstorm Gray. And let me show you the frunk. They call it E-trunk in General Motors terminology. But you could see it's quite a bit different. So it's a little bit wider, it's a little bit deeper. maybe it's almost approximately the same, but they say about 11 cubic feet. So this is not as huge as maybe like a F-150 Lightning frunk, which is about 14 cubic feet, but still quite large. This doesn't have a spare tire, so you have this, a little inflator kit, and it's mounted here in the front. This is your charger. So you have your Ultium charger. You have a drain hole, you have cup holders, you have lights. You also have inverter power. So 2.4 kilowatt there. And altogether, including the bed that I'll show you, this is 10.2 kilowatts. So where the Hummer had kind of limited inverter output, this has all of it. And this is class leading right now. I mean, this is up there. Really impressive stuff, including the stuff you could power from the bed of this truck. Okay, so now let's move inside. Zach, do you want to jump in?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get payload and towing out of the way really quick. Payload is 1,514 pounds. Let me show you. Towing is 10,000. GM continues to have these stickers in the driver door, and I think it's really great. It gives us a much closer understanding of its capability. A lot of other manufacturers don't do this. They don't put towing stickers, at least guidelines for towing in their door. Everybody has to have a payload sticker. Now let's get in. Notice there's no push button start. Not here, not down here. So all you do, like many other electric vehicles, you push the brake pedal and the vehicle comes to life if you have a key on you. This interior is brand new. It's nice. I like this a lot. Let me get a little bit more. Let me direct some of the AC here. So if you've been around GM trucks long enough, and I know Zach, maybe Zach understands where I'm going with this. You remember vents down below. There was one vent, what was referred to as a crotch vent.
Yeah.
Here in some of the GM trucks. Well, they're doing something similar. There's these dark vents on the side of the steering wheel that point downward, and I love it. So there's another one here, right there. And this is also a way I can control my suspension. So I have up and down on my suspension. I can open my frunk, can open my bed, tailgate. Also, this is my lane keep switch. I do have Blue Cruise right there. Heated steering wheel. I mean, it has everything. So, but I wanted to kind of show you the design first. Huge screen. This is 16.8 inches diagonal screen. We have a button, volume button, that's kind of this digital one that's attached to it. We have not just ability to control the climate control system digitally, but also with hard switches, which I love. Both work, so it's redundant controls. I really like that. So if you want, ventilation for your windshield or the rear glass, it's heating on the rear glass, and it's very easy to reach. They changed a few controls. So in the Hummer, the headlight switch was up here where you turned it. Here, you can reach it through this button, which is always there. So you can turn your driving lights on or headlamps on. And I can show you the headlights a little bit later. We have other controls. This does have rear steering. This also has crab walk, just like the GMC Hummers. You could look at your power station, set up the system for the inverter system if you're powering tools or your campsite or your house, any number of things. Camera system is also, GM does really good cameras. You can also control, let me go back. So first of all, I wanted to show you really quick. It's got this tile orientation, so you can have maps, your stereo system, and your modes all on the same screen, and you can kind of switch it up, so you can decide which you want in which. So let's say you're pulling a trailer. You want some trailer information to come up. You could add a trailer, define it here. Let me go back. Let me do tire pressures. This is a heavy vehicle, that's why the tire pressures are pretty high. 70 psi in the back and 63 psi in the front. This truck weighs 9,000 pounds, so a little bit more than that Hummer SUV. But it does have greater payloads, so they bumped up that gross vehicle capability, and it has 10,000 pounds of towing. So it has more capability overall. It's not class leading though. The Rivian has 11,000 pounds R1T tow rating. The Cybertruck has 11,000 pound tow rating. So this is not class leading tow rating. The other part I love about this interior, I mean the screen is very crisp and nice, is kind of this design. It's got a small, not overly bright chrome strip. I'm thankful it's not super bright because of sun reflection. And then this real open pore wood that runs the entire length of this horizontal dash. And I have my 11-inch infotainment, gauge screen here, and also have a heads-up display up there. You won't be able to see a lot of my heads-up display because it's very hard to show on camera, but the display space is around 14 inches diagonally. So it has a lot of visibility, a lot of gauges. I really like that about this truck. Now, charging. This charges at up to 350 kilowatts. So it's a little bit faster than that SUV. It's a bigger battery. Power is a little bit less. It's only a 2 motor. So, but I just say only. 785 pound-feet of torque, 754 horsepower. That's more than, many other vehicles, bottom line. So this is interesting. This is wireless charging part through wood. So this will charge, let's see if I can demonstrate it with my phone. Hold on. Yeah, it's charging. I don't know if you could tell. So that's kind of a cool trick. It doesn't have anything like a capacitor underneath, but it has this. You move this, you move this, you remove this, and then unveils this kind of hidden compartment. Not that hidden, but it's very, very deep. Here's like a water bottle sitting in here. So you have USB-Cs, you have 12 volt, so you can power your any number of devices, chargers, etc. Put this here. And this feels really high quality. So like this material, this wood, the metal, there's a very deep storage compartment here. So I think GMC is doing a really good job. Just look at the seats here as well. There's quilting, there's stitching. So they're doing quite well, I think, on the interior materials. Here's the thing. So this has this panoramic roof. It has a little bit of tint to it, so it's not perfectly clear, but it also not, it's see-through and there's no shade. So
it's not opaque.
It's not opaque. So I asked GMC and they said a removable shade is coming as an accessory. It's not available like this minute, but I think they'll be helpful if you're like, I don't know, in Nevada desert or in Phoenix or in some other really hot climates and you want to kind of block out the sun. You'll be able to do that very fast, very quickly with that accessory, but it's an accessory, not included with this truck. Let's see. What am I forgetting?
One more thing. I'll try to speak up a little bit because I know I'm not mic'd. Unlike the Hummer EV, the GMC Sierra EV, like a lot of GM's recently revamped crossovers and trucks, moved from having a console shifter, obviously to make space for inductive charging, cup holders, and whatnot, to an electronically controlled column-style shifter.
Yeah, and I actually appreciate that because you pull it down for drive, you pull it up for reverse, and you park it this way. And I mean, I used to have a 2002 Duramax diesel heavy duty, and I remember that was more mechanical, of course, but I kind of appreciate that. It seems like a good way to use, reverse and drive and neutral. The neutral is also there, and park. Also, 440 miles of range they've stated on this truck. I have no way to doubt that, but we'll have to wait and see and test it in the real world. It's very similar to what the Silverado EV does. So I'm showing right here 418 miles at about 95 or 96% battery. You can see here it's near 100. But here's the thing, I still don't know my exact. Oh no, it's right here, 96. Sorry.
So there's another positive change right
They
there.
added that. Yes, I think we've complained long enough, Zach, because we're like, can you show us more precisely what's happening with the charging state? You could also hear some other screens. You could see here. Let me go back to one complaint. If I had the complaint, by the way, this is a Google-based system, and there's no wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. So if you are, if that's a sticking point for you, I mean, you kind of need to know about that. I'm kind of okay with this because you can add different apps like Spotify and Waze. So if you're a member of Spotify, or if you use Waze regularly, you can add those apps.
Yeah, I did want to point out Amazon Alexa capabilities built into this Google Android-based system. You get Google Assistant and Maps built into the native infotainment system, so you don't need to necessarily connect to Android Auto, and then you use Play Store up here to download additional apps like Andre showed down here with Waze and Spotify.
Yeah, and also drive modes. Let's go there. Drive modes, yes. So there's a lot of configurability. So first of all, there's some basics like normal, off-road, and tow haul. Now, my mode, edit, thank you. I can control up to like 4 of these. So steering, I can have touring, normal, or sport. Suspension, I can have tour, normal, or sport. Acceleration, relax, normal, and adrenaline. Motor sound, I can have total off, or kind of the simulated noise, sport or normal.
We can't demonstrate at the moment, but that is coming in
It's coming.
Video.
Yeah, we'll show you all of that. So then you can save it. So let's say I don't want too heavy of a steering, maybe normal there. Suspension, I kind of in a relaxed mood right now. So touring, acceleration, I still want really powerful acceleration, and I appreciate this simulated noise, powertrain noise, so I want to leave that. So I've defined it, it saves it. I can also control my one pedal driving. I can have it off so I can coast. If you're a traditional driver, you can use that. I prefer normal, like one pedal driving, or you can also do high, which is pretty, could be aggressive, slightly a more aggressive way of regenerating energy.
One other thing I wanted to point out while we're on the subject, if you don't want to select this one pedal driving, if you just want to leave it off, you can use the paddle over here to do full regen, to where you don't even need to put your foot on the brake, really. You can just hold that paddle.
Yeah, but you do have to hold it.
You do have to hold it, yeah. As soon as you let off, it'll stop the regen if you have one pedal driving off.
Yeah, so that's another way to slow down, like if you're going downhill or if you're just approaching a stop. Or there's also Thor's hammer, Zach.
Yeah, you talked about having max power, so this doesn't necessarily get you max power.
Yes.
That's what this is for.
Let's try it. Oh, yes. It makes a sound, and it's enabled, and you could leave it on. So if you want to drive with 754 horsepower on tap when you push the accelerator all the way all the time, you can do that. If you're not using it, if it's not enabled, then it's about 405 horsepower, they said. So if you want to, save some energy, you could do that, or you could have some fun using this. If you want to shut off your vehicle, let's say you're just turned it on while you were walking around it, you could always hit this, and this will shut off your vehicle. So even though it doesn't have a button anywhere here, that's the way to do it. And this is my headlight switch. Yeah, down here.
I still think we need to show the coolest part, though, dude.
The midgate? You got it. So Zach, I need you a little bit of your help. I mean, I can do it by myself, but it'll be quicker if both of us do it.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
I have you. So there are various tabs that you pull for that.
Yeah, do you want to show that?
Yeah.
And there's a little map right down there. So you can see a little suggestion what you do first, second, and third, and fourth.
Yep. So I'm gonna set up and try to set up right here because it is a two-person job. They say you can do it on your own.
And I've done it by myself actually in the other track.
It's a little bit easier if you have some help though.
So, by the way, you might be wondering, this is a midgate, right? But the seat is still comfortable. So you would think since it's a folding seat and it's got some features that it'll be kind of hard as a bench, but it's okay. And I have plenty of space. So first you pull this, and you can open both sides, but it's a 40-60 split. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to leave one passenger, only one.
So you would have to leave it like this.
Yes, only one passenger. Now, the second thing, you need to make sure these are down. There's a little button on my side.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
There we go.
Then you pull a lever on the floor. This comes down. Now, if you can just lower this part. Let me just show that. Actually, you need to make sure it's closed.
There we go.
And you could open this, and you have a full pass-through to the back. But you could also remove this glass. So let's show that. Make sure all this is closed all the way. Pull down. There's a little safety latch right there. I can disable that. Put the glass down. Well, I need to go towards you.
Okay. So it snaps
little
in
latches?
the middle.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's two on each end.
So make sure this is
Or
latched.
one on each end, two total. Yep.
Now, push this again.
I'm sorry, hang on. There we go.
There.
Sorry.
Now make sure this is all closed.
Yep.
And you are open. Do you want to grab the camera? Because I wanna talk about a couple of other items here. So this is really tough. I've seen this used. So this is tough. This is, I think, Zach, this could be scratched if you're putting some lumber in here.
Yeah. So the idea is that you would put like a 4x8 sheet
Of plywood,
and
and it would end here.
yeah, and then kind of bump against that.
And the tailgate could be closed. So this is a great way. I mean, if you're carrying material or poster boards or something else, you just have to be mindful that this might be scratched if you care about this. I think a lot of truck owners do. Then you can, of course, remove this tonneau. This is a soft tonneau, or keep it here. This is very useful because you could keep the glass intact, close the tonneau, and you have weatherproofed storage area all the way down. Now let's open the tailgate. Let's go here. This is a multi-pro tailgate. You've seen this before. I don't have to talk too much about this. Two buttons, one for the top, one for the bottom. I can even do this. Well, actually, this becomes a step, right? But let me close this for the purposes of this video. If you open this up and all the way to the seats, to the seat cushions, to the bottoms of the seat cushions back there, this is 10 feet 11 inches. So almost 11 feet.
10 inches.
I'm sorry, 10 feet 10 inches. So you could put like a full-size surfboard or canoe, many different canoes, and they would fit here within the space. So it's not gonna flop out, and it's quite useful. This truck does not have a spare tire. Like I said, if it did have a spare tire, this is how you would access it, using these little points to lower the spare tire down. But this 35-inch tall tire doesn't quite fit underneath this bed, so it doesn't have it. Now, Zach, let's switch places. I want to show the inverter system that's on the passenger side. You have 240 volt right here, so basically like a generator plug. right there, and this is 7.2 kilowatt, and many more plugs here, and some fuses, and a little tiny storage box. Maybe like you could put, an adapter there or something else you're carrying for this system. Not a huge space. Right there, of course, bed lined. Everything is bed lined. Well, Ford kind of started that, right? Ford with an F-150 hybrid and then a Lightning truck really started that inverter capability, and GM has that. We haven't used it much yet, but as soon as we can get this to Colorado, we will do that. So we're almost done. So we showed you a lot of these features. Like I said, just over 1,500 pounds of payload. Pretty good for a luxurious truck, especially in this segment. But the weight of this truck is great. 9,000 pound curb weight. It's basically a heavy duty type of curb weight. And now you're wondering about price, right, Zach? This is 99,000-ish with a few extra dollars with destination charges. So under 100K for this edition one. In 2025, there will be another, of course, the Sierra EV Denali, not edition one, more color options. And then a little bit later in 2025, they will also have 84 and also Elevation Sierra EV models. So they're expanding this lineup to a full featured lineup. They're starting this with this most luxurious and this special truck. And now, Zach, which one is my favorite? Or maybe I'll ask you after I'm done. I like how playful this is, with the top off, glass down type of attitude, and it's very flashy. But I have to choose the truck. It's has more payload, it has more towing, has a lot of space inside. I'm not a huge fan. I really want that shade for those really sunny days like right now where I want to hide from the sun. But everything else, and the look of this truck too. Once again, Zach, show the profile. It's unique. It's not a Silverado EV. The designer told me that a lot of panels are different. The rear door and the roof panels are the same with the Silverado EV, but this section is different. The bedside, the front, the lights, of course, are different. The wheel wells, the shape there. And so it has its own character. And I think it kind of matches what I like. So even though you can have both for about 100K, the Hummer or this, I would choose this every day of the week. What about you, Zach?
I think I'm with you. I would choose the Sierra EV as well. The Hummer, it's a great toy. It's a lot of fun. We are talking six figures here,
Yeah.
but this is just eminently more practical. It's more of a conventional truck. It can tow 10,000 pounds. It gets that 440 miles of range, and GM says it's verified.
Yes.
440 mile range.
It charges a little bit quicker if the chargers are working.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Denali in particular, very nice interior materials, comfortable, stylish.
Yeah. And this color is good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought at first when I saw pictures of it that I wouldn't like it, but in person I really like this color. So let me know, guys, what you think in the comments below. Check out oldtfl.com for all the news, because we have 8 channels, 2 podcasts, and a couple of websites. But if you go to oldtfl.com, it's everything in one place right there. Also check out tflstuff.com, where we have some merch. We have some t-shirt designs that we think you will love. So check that out as well. And of course, that helps us out. And if you want to talk to us directly, you can also become a Patreon at patreon.com/tflcar. It's our only Patreon page. And you can interact with us, see stuff we are doing early before anybody else, and also be a part of our podcasts, because we can video conference each other. All right, thanks, Zach, for your help. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you next time.